took place in the town of Berdichev in Russia, where the great, holy Rebbe, Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev, was sitting and meditating before reading the Megillah. And everybody was there in the shul. The whole town was waiting for the Rebbe to start reading the Megillah, when all of a sudden the Gabbai comes over to him and says to him, Rebbe, this woman here has a question about the kashrut of her chicken. So as high as the Rebbe was in his thoughts, he knew that what's most important is what's right here, down here on earth. And he goes with the woman into the back room where he would meet people in the shul. And she says, Rebbe, listen, my husband is sick and my children haven't eaten anything in days, and we're mamish poor, we have nothing. And I spent my last pennies to buy this chicken, but when I opened it up, I saw that something wasn't sure, and I don't think it's kosher, and please, Rebbe, hopefully you'll say it's kosher. And as much as the Rebbe wanted to tell her that the chicken was kosher because he knew that she had nothing, it wasn't kosher, and he had to tell her, I'm sorry, you can't eat this chicken. It's not kosher. She said, what? Rebbe, what am I going to do? I have nothing. My husband, my children, we're fasting. What are we going to do? He said, don't worry about it. I'm going to daven for you. Just tell me your name, your mother's name, and where you live, and I promise you, not only will you have a kosher chicken, you'll have a whole meal, and the pantry will be stocked. So this woman felt unbelievable. Here, the greatest tzaddik, the Rebbe, is going to daven for her, and everything's going to be fine. In the meantime, the Rebbe stayed in his office for another half an hour. People are getting a little anxious, right, because they're fasting, and they want to start listening to the Megillah and get home and eat. Let me tell you, when the Rebbe came out of his office, he was glowing. Nobody had ever seen the Rebbe read the Megillah like he had read that year. People would talk about it for years to come, how the Rebbe, when he got to the section about Jews giving gifts of food to one another and gifts to the poor, matanot le'avyonim, he was on fire, like they'd never seen him before. Nobody had ever seen anything like it before. So this woman, when she gets home, she's of course waiting to see the Rebbe's blessing fulfilled. She gets home and she wasn't disappointed. There, sitting on the table, was a whole feast of cooked food, and the pantry was completely stocked. It was unbelievable. So she goes to find her husband and ask him what happened, and he was sleeping. She wakes him up, says, "No, what's going on?" He says, my God, I had the most unbelievable dream. You won't believe this. It was mamash, a poor miracle, my dream. Eliyahu Navi walked into our house and put all this cooked food on the table and stocked the pantry with food. He said it was such a realistic dream. I could smell the food, and I can even smell it right now. She said to him, that's because it's not a dream. It's real. Come and look. And he goes into the other room and sees the table filled with food, the food that he dreamt about, and the pantry is stocked. In the meantime, Reb Levi Yitzchak and his family come home, of course after fasting themselves. And to their surprise and deep disappointment, they saw that a little thief broke into their house. And all the thief stole was the food in the pantry and the cooked food for the feast. Now, the Rebbe's wife, she was at her wit's end, and she was ready to practically pass out from the exhaustion and from the stress. But then she noticed her husband was standing in the other room, and he was pacing back and forth and singing a little song. I lie, lili, lie, 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 lili, lie, lie, I lili, lie, 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 lili, lie. The Rebbe's wife knew what was going on. It didn't take long before word got around that the Rebbe and his family had no food to break the fast, and within a matter of 10 or 15 minutes, the table was filled with food, and the pantry stocked 10 times over. And you know what? That Purim, everyone in Berdichev was happy. The poor family that never had so much food in their whole life, they were happy. And the Rebbe's wife, and of course the whole family, they were happy. But no one was happier than Reb Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev. because never in his life had he had the chance to do the mitzvah of giving gifts to the poor on Purim like he had done that year.